Alright, hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your favorite low-functioning YouTuber here, Tickle Me Pink. Got another video for my favorite high-functioning audience now. You guys absolutely ate up the video we put on the channel. We set a world record on Zane, Mayhem 3 Slaughter Shaft, best time in the world. I said if this video hits 1,000 likes, I'll drop the build that I used to set this world record. You guys crushed that goal. I just want to say thank you so much. You guys have no idea how much it helps me just to click that like button and leave a comment and watch my video. It helps me so much, and thanks to all the cool people in the Borderlands community. You know, I don't really normally make Borderlands videos, but the transition's been pretty seamless, and I've met a lot of really cool people in this community. So I just want to say thanks to all of you that have been watching my videos, talking to me on Discord, talking to me on my social media, you know, talking to me on my live stream. It's been a pleasure meeting all of you, and let's hop into this video. I'm going to hold up my end of the bargain here. I'm going to show you guys how I build my Artic Assasin Zane build. Now, we're not going to talk about how I spelled Arctic in the thumbnail, or so help me God, I will put you in timeout. Alright guys, I'm adding this after I already edited the entire video. This is just a little bit of a public service announcement that this is a long video and there's not that many jokes in it compared to my normal videos, but there was a lot of information to cover, and this is a video that you kind of gotta watch all the way to the end to understand how you're gonna be doing this damage. Otherwise, you're just gonna be left with a scuffed build. You really need to understand how all these things tie in together. So yeah guys, without further ado, let's hop into this video. Alright, so I just recorded this entire fucking video in one take, and I found out I wasn't recording, so God fucking damn it! But besides that minor autistic outbreak, guys, let's hop into this. Let's spend some points. But before we do, YouTube tells me that 92% of you motherfuckers that watch my videos aren't subscribed. What the fuck are you doing with your lives? Hit the fucking subscribe button. I'm not making this video till you hit the subscribe button. I'll wait. Alright, there we go. You know, I'm a man of reason. You guys hit the subscribe button. Let's go. I'm gonna go ahead and respec all our points. This dude's upset. I don't know what's going on with that character, but let's spend some points. So, we're gonna start in the undercover tree. Normally I like to take it from the top, but for this, if you don't understand this whole build, you need to understand calm, cool, and collected. This entire build focuses around this. So the way calm, cool, and collected works is whenever Zane freezes an enemy, his shield instantly begins recharging. If Zane's shields are already full, he regenerates health for a few seconds. If Zane's health is already full, his action skill cooldowns and durations are immediately reset. Now that last part is very important. This is what makes this build. So you guys have to remember, calm, cool, and collected is the basis of this build. Now let's take it from the top. I put 5 points in adrenaline. Now what adrenaline does is Zane gets increased action skill cooldown rate. Now in this build we'll have our action skill cooldowns up basically all the time. However, if they ever do fall, we want to keep as much uptime as possible for as much DPS as possible. After that, we put 5 points in ready for action. The way ready for action works is Zane gains improved shield recharge rate and shield recharge delay. So we're going to keep our shields topped off, and the reason for that is we want 1 point in confident competence. You can only put 1 point in this skill. And the way this works is the more percent full Zane's shields are, you'll gain gun damage and accuracy. When they're full, you're getting 20% extra gun damage and 33% extra accuracy. So we want to keep our shields topped off all the time. Now, hardy stock. Now there's two ways to look at this. Now, I like to use low shields, so I'll show you my shield. Normally I don't show items later on, but it's important for you to understand what the thought process is. So I like to see, as you see, I have a very low capacity shield with a really good recharge rate. Now, recharge delay isn't a super big deal. Like, this could have a 10-second recharge delay. If it had a 3,000 recharge rate, that would be amazing, because like we talked about, calm, cool, and collected, if you kill an enemy and your shields aren't full, it'll automatically start charging your shields. And if you're far enough into the survivor tree, I believe it is this one, killing an enemy triggers shield regeneration. So our shields will always be proccing, and that'll help keep us our confident competence, giving us 20% gun damage all the time. Now, back to hardy stock. When you increase your maximum shield size, if you lose your shields, it takes longer to get back to that max capacity. So there's two ways of looking at this. If you were to use a really big shield, like I know some people like to use the transformer in this build, which I disagree with on some testing, I found it was a DPS loss. But if you were to use big shields, it wouldn't be the end of the world, because if you did get shot, then you would keep more percentage of your shield, whereas if I get shot, I'll probably lose my entire shield. However, with this build, you really won't get shot much at all. So I prefer a low shield with high capacity and a really high recharge rate. The recharge delay doesn't matter as much, so look out for those. So on that token, I don't like to put any points on hardy stock because it'll take longer for me to get my shields back to full in the event that I lose them. So brain freeze. We're going to put 5 points in this. Whenever Zane scores a critical hit on an enemy, there's a chance they'll be slowed. This effect stacks until the target is frozen. Now, I like to use the Lucian's Call, and you're basically always aiming for crits with that. You're going to freeze them faster. And when enemies are frozen, we'll pull up the official wiki here. So the official Cryo wiki says, while frozen enemies... Oh, what happened there? While frozen, enemies take an additional 250% melee damage, not important to us, 200% explosive damage, not important to us, and 200% extra critical hit damage. Also, cryo weapons against a frozen enemy deal 110% extra critical hit damage. So you see, we have a ton of critical hit damage coming in when we have someone frozen. So this will help us freeze enemies faster while we're aiming for those crits anyways, which is where this build gets all its power from. Now, I put 3 points in stiff upper lip. Now what stiff upper lip does is when Zane is damaged, he gains damage resistance against that damage type. This isn't super important, but we need to spend enough points to get farther down the tree, and in the event that you do lose your barrier, now keep in mind this is a barrier, not a shield. We'll always refer to this as barrier, and we'll refer to this as our shield, so no one gets confused from this point forward. So in the event that we lose our barrier, we do have a little bit of survivability, because without that barrier, Zane is very, very fragile. He really doesn't have much to keep him alive, so that'll help us a lot. Then I put 1 point in Futility Belt, and that'll get us this capstone of Calm, Cool, and Collected, which is what was super important for us to gain. Now, Futility Belt, Zane gains resistance to non-elemental damage, and it's a kill skill, so after killing an enemy, all elemental damage Zane takes is converted to non-elemental damage. So you're gaining resistance to it, and it's converting all of that to non-elemental damage. Then we also gain damage resistance. So this gives you a little bit of tankiness in the event that you lose your barrier. This has kept me alive several times. Now, originally I thought Best Served Cold might be good, but when looking at the actual numbers, the Cryo Nova doesn't really do any damage, and it's not going to help you freeze things any faster, and it has a cooldown. If it didn't have a cooldown, and it helped you freeze things much faster, it could be a really, really great skill. But at the time being, it just doesn't scale well enough. Also, you have really expensive jacket. It's going to lower how much elemental status affects, the duration of them. So if you're like lit on fire, it'll only last for half as long. But if you take this, you know, you won't have elemental issues. So I like to go with Utility Belt. That seems the way to go. When I was originally testing this build, if you watched my How to Farm Grave Ward video, I'll link it up above. Best method for any character to farm Grave Ward legit. I thought that maybe we could also use the rerouter with distributed denial. Oh my god, that was like an Adam Sandler moment right there when he's pretending to not know how to read in 50 First Dates. Let me know in the comments down below if you know what I'm talking about. That shit is hilarious. But I thought, I'll read it out loud for you guys first. So Zane's barrier gains the effects of his currently equipped shield mod. Additionally, the shield effects are applied to all allies near the barrier. Now important, pay attention to that first part. Let's see if I have the rerouter on me. I don't have a rerouter on me. So if you don't know how the rerouter works, it's kind of like a B shield. So when it's at full charge, it amps your next shot for 120% damage, but it takes 50% of your shields. So while I was theory crafting this build, I thought, well, if my barrier is gonna keep my my shield mod, the barrier doesn't have health, so will it always just amp my shots? Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. It would be really, really cool if it did work that way, but unfortunately, that is not the case. So Zane would be an absolute powerhouse if that was the case. That would be so overpowered. Now, so we don't spend any more points going down to here. Calm, Cool, and Collected is our capstone. We won't get any, well, these are technically the capstones, but this is going to be the capstone for this build. We'll never go farther into a tree than this. So we're going to pick up the barrier. Oh my god, can you guys hear my cat? He's like rubbing on the mic and purring. Little Hellcat, you must go. Now is not the time. Be free, child. We're going to grab barrier. Go ahead and equip that. And I like to grab got tabbed out there for a moment. Sorry about that. I like to grab the all-rounder, and the way this works is Zane's barrier becomes a dome. Now originally I didn't use this because I would just keep my backs to enemies, but some splash damage would always like proc my shield off. Like here, I'll show you. Even though it looks like oh wait, this is actually the dome variation. But when you don't have the dome variation, it still looks like this, but you're only covered from like 180, and like splash damage, even if you kept enemies in front of you, would tend to break your shield off, and we want to keep our shield up as much as possible for that extra gun damage. So I like to go with the dome. Sometimes like barrels, especially, and rocket launchers will still damage you through your dome, but most things won't. You're basically invulnerable while you're in your dome. Then I like to also grab retaliation. Now the way retaliation works is Zane and allies near the barrier, keep in mind you're going to be wearing the barrier, gain increased gun damage for a few seconds after the barrier takes damage. Like the enemies are going to be shooting you. Like I play solo all the time, so they only shoot at me, so you're basically getting 10% gun damage the entire time you have your barrier active. If you're killing enemies while you're in your barrier, you should have your shields and your health, so you'll just continuously have your barrier. You can never take damage, and you constantly gain damage from always having your shields. The barrier itself gives you damage amp of 25% while shooting through it, and you're getting 10% whenever it gets shot. So you can see how this stuff stacks really well. Now we're gonna go over to the blue tree next. The blue tree is the next most important. If you're not level 50 yet and you'd like to use this build, I'm doing this in the order that I would do it if I wanted to play this build, and let's say maybe I just beat the story, I'm level 30, I would start investing in the blue tree next. So the blue tree is important, namely because we need it for Centennial. Centennial is what's going to make this build so strong, and I'll explain later on, because Centennial by itself is actually terrible, but there's one anointed perk that Centennial has that makes it an absolute powerhouse in this build. So we're going to put 5 points into Violent Speed. And the way Violent Speed works is Violent Speed is a kill skill. After killing an enemy, Zane gains increased movement speed for a few seconds. Sounds kind of whatever until we look at Violent Momentum. We're going to put 5 points in that. And the way this works is Zane's gun damage is increased while moving. The quicker he moves, the greater the gun damage bonus. So we're going to be moving faster. We're going to be doing even more gun damage. This will stack with our other gun damage perks. You can see 2 great skills to have right there. Now, this looks good if you just look at the next rank down below. It says weapon swap speed and bonus cryo damage. But when you read it, it says Zane gains increased weapon swap speed. The next shot fired after swapping weapons deals bonus cryo damage. So you're not getting that bonus cryo damage all the time. I really wish that was the case. So Cold Bore is not the way to go. We're going to go ahead and put 5 points in Cool Hand. Now, Cool Hand is another kill skill. It's going to increase your reload speed. Now, after killing an enemy, Zane reload speed is increased for a few seconds. Now, let me say this right now. If you're using the Lucian's Call, you won't be reloading much at all. The way Lucian's Call works is whenever you hit a crit, it'll return 2 bullets to your magazine. So, you're not going to be reloading much. You could spend these 5 points somewhere else. If you want to get the lifesteal, which you really won't need because you're going to be continuously in a barrier, then you can go ahead and grab that. If you want to get like the extra few percent damage increase from swapping your weapons, you can grab that. I just go ahead and grab reload speed because you will need to reload eventually with Lucian's Call unless you're like some sort of god at the game. Maybe I'm just terrible, I don't hit enough crits. But you do need to reload here and there. And I find my DPS is the highest by just lowering that reload speed. So we're going to put 1 point in Drone Delivery, and the way this works is Centennial will occasionally drop a free grenade based on Zane's current grenade mod while attacking enemies. This is amazing. We'll look at our grenade mod later, but Centennial will be dropping all of our grenades for us. And keep in mind, so pay attention, Centennial will occasionally drop a free grenade based on Zane's current grenade mod while attacking enemies, and the cooldown is 15 seconds. I'm sorry for reading that to you twice, but that's important to note. Keep that in mind when we talk about grenades later. I don't like to put any points in Salvation because in theory, you should have your barrier up all the time. When you kill people, it'll refresh your barrier. You're never going to need health. Right, guys? Easy. Then we put 1 point in Death Follows Close. This is going to be our last point in the blue tree. And the way this works is all of Zane's kill skills gain increased effect and duration. So this will boost our movement speed. This will increase our gun damage from our movement speed. This will increase our reload speed. all of our kill skills are just going to get a nice little buff for 1 point. It's really good. They'll also last longer, which is really, really nice. That's the main reason we want to grab this. So you have all DPS options left. You have Violent Violence, Playing Dirty, and the way these two work is Violent Violence is a kill skill. After killing an enemy, Zane gains increased fire rate for a few seconds. That fire rate would be 12% for 1 point for 8 seconds, but then you go ahead and get the plus 7 seconds from Death Falls Close, so you'll actually have 15 seconds of this fire rate. This can be really good. Then you also have this kill skill, Playing Dirty. Kill skill, after killing an enemy, Zane's next 5 shots all have a chance to fire an additional projectile. These are almost neck and neck when it comes to DPS. It is like a 1 point, I think it's a, alright, I'm just going to throw this in the video really quickly. So I've messed this build a little longer. I recorded this stuff around 2 days ago, and I've decided to only put 3 points in Cool Hand, and then you can either put 2 points in whatever of the DPS skills that I'm explaining right now, but I chose to put 2 points in Violent Violence, and we have 3 for my class mod. So just thought I'd throw it in there. More DPS, more damage. Everyone likes being a Chad. There you guys go. 1.05 difference for DPS. So you could really pick whichever one you want. I don't invest in either of these though. I go ahead and you have to take 5 points of this in this build. You have to get 5 points of synchronicity. And the way this works is whenever one or more of Zane's action skills are active, he gains increased gun damage for each active action skill. We're going to have 40% gun damage because both of our skills are going to be up all the time. Going back to Calm, Cool, and Collected, it's going to refresh your action skill and cooldowns. We're going to have both our cooldowns out at the same time, so we're always going to have that 40% extra gun damage. Now, back to our last 5 points that we get spent on DPS. I told you what Violent Violence does. That's such a dumb name. And I told you what Playing Dirty does. Now, what I like to put points into, and what mathematically seems to be the most DPS, is Donnybrook. Now, Donnybrook is also a kill skill. And whenever Zane kills an enemy, he and his Digiclone receive increased gun damage and gain health regeneration for a few seconds. Now, the Digiclone isn't important. We're not using the Digiclone. If you guys have tried using the Digiclone, it's like on the spectrum. I don't know what's the matter with it. It's cross-eyed. It doesn't hit anything. I hate the Digiclone. But this gun damage alone is really nice. Then you look at the extra health regeneration. You get the 3% missing health a second. Not a big deal, but that might push you over into getting you to full health right before you freeze someone, and then it procs getting all your action skills back. So this is really nice. This will help you get maybe 1 or 2 more action skills in times where you may have lost your action skills because you took a little bit of status effect damage from a barrel that blew up before it got transferred into a non-elemental damage type from Futility Belt. So I really like to go with Donnybrook. Now, if you want, you can put 5 points in Violent Violence or 5 points in Playing Dirty. This is your call. But we got to modify our Centennial, and I like to put Winter's Drone on our Centennial. It'll just change it to a cryo damage Centennial. This is nice. It'll help you freeze people, and helping you freeze people will get you that extra, what did we decide it was on the wiki? I guess I closed the wiki. It was like 110% bonus cryo critical hit damage and 200% critical hit damage. That's insane. He's helping you freeze people. And then we also like to grab Bad Dose. Now, the way Bad Dose works is Centennial occasionally shoots out a beam of radiation that weakens enemies and buffs Zane. This is kind of stupid, but I mean, it gives you a little bit of fire rate, a little bit of movement speed, so that's giving you a little bit of extra damage from Violent Momentum. So, hard to go wrong with that. The rest of these are pretty lame. I mean, Almighty Ordnance is cool and all, but because we're never going to be losing our drone, like, we're only going to use it once, and it really isn't that much damage. You'll be doing so much more damage with this build, so this is how I like to spend my points. Now, let's talk about gear. Now, there's one anointment that makes this so strong. Now, we're going to keep our barrier and our Centennial up all the time, and Zane has an anointment that, while Centennial is active, gain 50% of damage is bonus cryo damage. Now, keep in mind, this is going to come in before all of our extra critical hit damage from enemies being frozen and all the extra critical cryo damage from enemies being frozen. You need to get this anointment. I've seen a lot of people say, I have a rough idea what your build is. I tried it. I suck. Guys, you have to get the Anointed Operative with this Centennial perk. It's super annoying to farm. If you need any of these items, leave your name in the description down below and what items you need. with the Moe's guide, I think I gave out so many items. I helped at least a couple hundred people. Sorry if I didn't get to all of you. I have to make videos. I have to make money at the end of the day. I have to afford to eat Taco Bell because I'm a broke boy. But you have to get this anointment. So I'll leave links to my farming guides. I have a bunch of farming guides coming out soon. You can use any character to farm, whatever you want. You just gotta get a weapon that has, when Centennial is active, gain 50% of damage is bonus crowd damage. Now let's recommend weapons. The Lucian's Call is gotta be your bread and butter. My cat won't fuck off and wants more attention. Hellcat, I give you attention all the time. Would you let me film a video for the boys once? The Lucian's Call, it's your go-to. But if you can't get one with this perk yet, another really good weapon is the Artic Nighthawkin. Well, I guess they're all Artic Nighthawkins. They're all cryo. So the way this works, it's a burst fire doll. Also, you can get them with extra critical. This one doesn't have it, but where you see like weapon fire rate, it might have 10% extra crit. That'll stack with all the cryo extra crit damage you're getting, so this is really nice. The Lucian's Call has got to be 2 or 3 times better than Nighthawkin, but this is one of your next best options. Other than that, the Crossroads. This is another great cryo weapon, but you gotta try and get one of these weapons while Centennial's active, gain 50% damage as bonus cryo damage. I know, I've said it like 4 or 5 times, but it's really important. If you can't find one, like I said, come to me or come to my Discord. There's a trading chat on my Discord. People love to help people out in there. Lots of cool dudes in there. But enough of this shameless plug. After that, I like to keep a fire damage Lyuda on me. And the reason for this is you'll see in the footage in the background, anointed enemies for some fucking reason they don't take any damage from cryo. So you have to have a weapon to deal with these. And fire is like the go-to, so I like to keep a fire Lucian's Call or a fire Lyuda. Usually both of them to deal with these anointed enemies. Now I know the Lyuda is going to be nerfed in the upcoming patch, so fire Lucian's Call, definitely a go-to. But yeah guys, keep a fire weapon over here, whatever you like just to deal with those anointed guys. We already covered the shield, but once again, I have a anointment on mine that while Centennial is active, we're going to get 9% increased fire rate. That's just going to increase our DPS even more. I'm not sure if this is the best anointment for shields. For some reason, I never get any anointed shields or grenades. They're super rare for me. And if you guys find any of these, please send me a screenshot of them. It doesn't need to be a legendary weapon. It doesn't need to be a good shield. Just send me anointments you find on shields and grenades, and just send them on like my Insta, my Twitter, my Snapchat, my Discord, anything. I'm trying to compile a list so I know like all the best in slot items so I can make better builds for you guys. So after that, the Executor class mod is pretty important. So it's a kill skill. Whenever Zane kills an enemy, he gains increased accuracy, handling, critical hit damage, status effect damage, and status effect chance. Now, it doesn't give concrete numbers on what it does. However, we want all those stats anyways, and they have insane stats. Look at this. This one has 25% weapon damage, doll weapon critical hit damage, SMG damage. I've seen ones that have like AR damage, SMG damage, Vlad fire rate. Like my build could be even stronger, guys. These have insane stats on the bottom of them. And you see we have points in skills like playing dirty, violent, violence. These are just extra DPS skills. So this is a great class mod. Another good one, if you can't find that one, is a Slit Cold Warrior. This one also gets pretty good bonuses, but not nearly as good. But the effect is whenever Zane freezes an enemy, a random status effect is applied to them instantly. So this is like the budget Executor, but you gotta get yourself an Executor first and foremost. This is insane. Now, the Merv Tactical Hex. You need to get a Cryo Hex. And the reason for that is, like we talked about, Centennial is going to be dropping those grenades every 15 seconds. And I've noticed when Centennial refreshes, it tends to just go drop another grenade immediately. So after you kill someone, it'll just go drop another grenade right away. It seems to like buffer over the cooldown. That might be patched out though, guys. And the last and also another very important item in this build is the Icebreaker Victory Rush. Now, it doesn't have to be a Victory Rush, but this is the best one that I've found. So while enemies are frozen, you're doing bonus damage, bonus cryo efficiency, so you're freezing enemies faster. Then when you kill a badass, you're getting 18% movement speed and damage, so your movement speed is transferred into damage. You see all this stuff is just stacking. It's snowballing. It's kind of ironic because it's a cryo build and it's snowballing. If you're not familiar with that term, what it means is like, I don't know, I'm stupid, but basically like you have a little bit of gun damage, a little bit of movement speed, and oh, you get more gun damage and more movement speed, and it just stacks and stacks and stacks, and eventually you start with a small snowball and you have like an avalanche, right? So this one has assault rifle damage, cryo efficiency, and cryo damage as well. I have really good gear. I'm looking for a better version of this that doesn't have SMG damage on it. I'd like to see like a Vlad fire rate or Vlad critical hit damage. I'm not sure if that can spawn on this, but if it could, oh my god, I'd be doing even more damage. Like you could set like a 10-minute record on Slaughter Shaft if you could get that. That would increase your DPS by so much. Now, there's one other relic I like to use, and that is the Snowdrift Splatter Gun. So, if you're not familiar with this, it's used just to get around really fast, and this is why I use them. I'm just sticking around, playing side quests, playing through True Vault Hunter mode, and it's going to let you slide super fast. You're also going to be getting that increased cryo damage. Or wait, actually you don't get that on that one. I lied, I'm sorry. For some reason I thought I had it. But the main thing is you get to slide around really fast. And that extra movement speed is transferring into gun damage. It's just a fun one to play around with. You don't need it by any means. It also has plus 16% cryo damage and the extra movement speed and magazine size, so you can't complain about this. This is just like a budget one, so you get that victory rush. Like I said, super item dependent guide. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to put more footage here or what I'm going to do. The only issue with this build is it's not very good at killing bosses. I'll release a boss build for Zane later, so stay tuned for that. And guys, people have suggested that I start a Patreon. Now, I don't know how I feel about this, but what I can say is a lot of my videos get demonetized. I really just do this because I like hanging out with you guys. So you can join my channel. I contacted YouTube. Normally I think it's $10. I made them make it 99 cents. So if you really want to support me, you can hit the join button on my YouTube, join my channel. It's only 99 cents, guys. Like if everyone here that got to this point in the video joined for 99 cents, it's like less than like a hamburger at McDonald's. That would do so much for me, guys. So, but thank you guys for donating your time. I mean, it really means the world to me that you guys just watch my videos. If you can support me, that's awesome. I'll leave links in the description down below. The other option I have right now is I've been approached with a lot of sponsorship deals where they pay pretty well. Like in saying just uploading one video to my channel, they'll give me $100 just to link their website in my description. But it's a lot of shady websites, and I'm not really sure how I feel about them. I don't want any of you guys getting scammed just so I can make some extra money. So we'll see if I garner any support from these links. And regardless, thank you guys for watching my video. As always, remember to smash that dislike button and tell me to kill myself down below. And let me know what you thought of this Zane build in the comments down below. Share it with your friends if you think it's good, because I know a lot of Zane players just like quit playing the game or re-rolled. And yeah, guys, take care, enjoy your week, enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you guys on the live stream.